welcome to my channel, Haylee Marie Vintage. Today I am doing a much requested video, which is how I do my hair. I feel like I need to take you through a week of hair and how I do it to show you how I do my hair. Today we are on day 4 hair, so I haven't set it in 4 days. I probably usually would not clean it and set it tomorrow, but this is the timeline I put for this video, and I feel like it'll show you a good variance knowing that this is day 4 hair. I cannot always predict how my sets go. Hopefully we get a good one on this video, so I'm going to take you through the next 7 days of how I do my hair, and I'm going to start tomorrow with showing you just my general maintenance. Before I kick this off, I just want to go with the usual disclaimer, which is that everybody's hair type is really different, and what works for my hair might not work for your hair. It took me most of the pandemic to figure out the curl method that worked best for my hair. So just like keep that in mind. It might not work for you, or it will work for you depending on like your life, your routine, even where you live in the weather. So I have really fine hair, but I have a lot of it. So you'll see this when I actually put it up. While I don't actually have tons of hair here, in the back I have so much hair. And then yeah, my hair is basically fine and it is straight. If I let it air dry, it has almost no wave to it, aside from like if I accidentally like lean on it weird. So it is about as straight as it comes. It is arguably the only straight thing about me. So yeah, let's go ahead and kick off with my morning routine. All right, good morning. It is about 7 o'clock. I am about to prep my hair for washing. So basically what I do first is I get my hair up in a ponytail. This is actually usually curlier than I would wash. I would usually wait for it to flatten maybe another day or two, but this is just the time period that works for the video. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this wet. And then I'm gonna throw in, I have an Olaplex mask. This one's fine. I don't think it's worth the price. My usual go-to when I'm not experimenting and trying new things is this Eva NYC hair mask. I guess I can link these down below. Again, there'll probably be affiliate links with Amazon, but go and buy them from any smaller local stores you might have. So that's what I start with. So I guess we'll hop into that. Basically this is just awkward. So the reason I get this wet is because I think most of these masks are kind of supposed to be used wet. So yeah, I just start by dampening that and putting the mask. I use quite a bit. My hair is just fairly dry from all, I feel like, the curling and brushing I do in it. So, and you know, the fact that it's blue and obviously is not natural. So I try to do this probably about once a month, more when I'm doing things that are bad to it. And this just helps keep my hair healthy so I can keep my hair long and also colorful. And I mainly focus on the ends because the ends are what need it. And then I'm just gonna put it up in a bun here. And we're gonna call this good, and then what I'm gonna do is after I do this, I'm gonna let it sit for about an hour, and then I will be hopping in the shower, washing my hair. I can link the shampoo and conditioner I also use down below if you're curious. Again, I'm just using higher end things than you probably need to unless you're abusing your hair the way I do. So yeah, that's kind of the morning wash routine, and then I'll show you what I put in it after I finish washing my hair in a bit. Once my hair dries just a little bit after I've towel dried it and it's sat out for a little bit, I'm putting on some detangler. I'll show you the brand I use there. It's just probably a small sample I got somewhere that's still kicking. And then I'm also putting some oil in my hair. This is again the Olaplex oil. This one I do reliably use, although there's one I think called Crybaby by IGK maybe that I like as well. I'll link both of them down below. These are just to help keep my hair hydrated, but also to detangle it. My hair gets really tangled really easily. And then I'm just gonna brush that through all of my hair. And then I'm pretty annoyed because, of course, my camera corrupted the file showing the first part of me putting my hair up. But here I'm putting my hair up. It is just almost air dry, and then I spray a little extra water into it. I only use water because I've tried a bunch of different products, and water is actually what works best to help me hold my curls. Most likely you're gonna need some sort of set and spray, but I am not the channel to tell you what to use for that. Since my camera corrupted these files, I'm just gonna basically show you the end of this, and I'm going to talk you through my full process on the next set, which will be later in this video. So here I'm just wrapping up my set, and it is I think like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm setting my hair, so it'll have a little over 12 hours to dry. All right, good morning. I have had these rollers in 16 hours. I try to get over 12 hours in to make sure they fully dry. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and if that's the case, I will wet the curl set to dry and just try to loosen them a little bit, but I'll just show you, I guess, what I do when I pull them out. I'm not particularly organized. First day hair is never my favorite hair day, and I really do first day hair to set up the success for the next 2 to 3 days, depending on the set and how successfully it takes and like how much I like the shape. Clipping on these isn't too bad for me. My chronic back pain will always hurt worse than the rollers in my hair, and the way I lay them, they end up pretty flat, and I sleep on my back, and I guess I'll turn around, but hopefully you can see here that like my back is basically empty, so if I sleep here, it doesn't hurt. And I don't really feel the rollers, but also I have the rollers like here designed or like laid so they lay flat against my head. But I also know that rollers and being able to sleep like that is not for everyone, which is again why I always just say like hair routines are so personal and you just have to kind of figure out what works for you. When I tried the foam rollers that are like more friendly to sleeping, my hair would frizz so bad, and it was so like, no, it was very frizzy, it was very ugly. I couldn't get the curls as tight as I wanted. I'm sure at this point there's more things on the market, more tools that could allow me to, I guess, probably have something squishier on my head. At some point I might look into it, but this routine works so well for me that I'm not really like super excited at the idea of starting from scratch again. But I usually release them back to front, and then once I have them all out, which is going to take a second, I'll kind of let them sit for about a half hour and just make sure if there is any wetness, it'll like dry in the air, and then I'll show you what I do after that. I tend to target these. I'm at work 1 day a week. Well, I have 2 days that I work from home, but one of those days is a no meeting day, so I tend to make sure I have a set going for that day, because then I can kind of have this elongated process. I need one no meeting day for both my introvert self, but also my job is very, I guess, boots on the ground. Like I have to do a lot of work, and some days I just need like a whole day to focus and not be interrupted by a gajillion meetings. So yeah, I tend to have my sets done on that day, because that's usually just a chiller day in general for me, and then I don't have to obviously figure this out. I do often set my hair one of the days a week that I go into work, and the way I manage having enough time for that is I just go ahead and I put them in, which I guess I did yesterday too. I put them in basically right when I get home from work the previous day, or if the previous day was like at home, I will try to get them in as early as like 2. That way they have enough time to dry, and I'll also usually wet just a little bit less. And that's just kind of all the different ways I guess I manage like being a working professional, but also doing these sets. What I love most about these sets is the fact that they last for, my longest set has lasted a whole week. If we get lucky on this video and I get that type of set, I guess you'll see what that looks like. But usually my sets work about 4 days before they start to get straight in a way I don't like. I've actually recently dialed these to be my thinner rods, and that has really helped, because basically this front part will start to straighten first, and that's what I don't like. If you wet set your hair regularly, you're always perfecting it more and more. Oh, I think Spooky's coming to say hello. I see you, Sneaky. Where are you? Come on, come say hi. I just feel like I'm constantly always like refining, and basically the hair routine I have right now is not the one I'm necessarily going to have a few years from now. Oh, you're not coming in view of the camera. Say hello. Can you say hi? Why are you so cranky? Oh, there you go. You look at the camera. You're so cute. Then it also like really heavily depends on climate. So I live in like not a dry climate, but not a particularly humid climate. When I am home in like Denver, where it is a really dry climate, or my recent trip to Palm Springs, I actually reduced the number of curlers in my hair. You're gonna see that I'll reduce that for section that I work with to 3 per section, and that seems to get it so it's not too curly. If I do the same thing somewhere like Colorado that I do here, I end up with really curly day 1 hair for like 3 days, and since today is not my favorite hair day, that is not ideal. But once I get these out, I'm basically gonna go eat breakfast, and then I will check back in with you when I go to style these. This is not how I leave these, even though I know people who think I should leave them like this, but I think it's too horrifying. Other thing is I like pat my hair down, because it's really easy for me to miss a rod, especially because right now they're the same color as my hair. And I have been known, and I have definitely like ended up at work with a rod in my hair before. So I just do, yeah, a quick pot down. But as you can see, they're very, very ringlety right now. And yeah, I'll let these just kind of sit out since I have the time for a half hour. On days that I do this where I need to go into work right after, I don't let them sit the half hour. But since today I have the luxury, I'll go ahead and do that. I will check back in when I come in to pull them apart. And then after that, I pull apart my curls after I let them sit without the curlers in, just to make sure they're fully dry before I start yanking them. I yank these into 1 to 2 to 3 pieces depending on the curl. And then I shake my head up and down, and I will then brush the top of my hair just in case there's anything funky happening there. And that is how I wear my hair for the first day. As I am showing you, this is how first day of the set looks. I can tell already the set is really, really loose, but we'll see how it goes from here. And now we're at the end of the day. My hair pretty much looks the same as it started earlier on in the day. And now I am going to go ahead and be brushing it out. I get all the knots out, and then I put it in a ponytail that's going to sit up on my head. And then I'm going to drape it over the back of the pillow while I sleep. I have a lot of night sweats, so I really have to keep my hair away from my body or my head, because otherwise it will straighten out because of how much I sweat. Good morning. I'm not gonna lie, this set is looking very suspicious. This is looking like a not so great set, looking like I'm maybe gonna get another day out of it, which ideally I get 4 to 5 days from a set instead of 2 or 3. Setting your hair isn't a science, so it does happen. So I'll just show you, this is my morning routine every morning, just like my night routine last night is my night routine every night. You can also see pretty on display, I usually buy 2-day hair that like my breakage from running around and dyeing my hair a while ago is like firmly on display, but all I'm doing is brushing this out. Ow. Yeah, this is a very loose set. I don't know why this set ended up so loose, but it did. It's usually what day 3 or even day 4 hair looks like on me. This is usually not a day 2 situation. It does look nice, don't get me wrong. It's just, it's definitely looser than I'd like at this point in the set, which is why it's maybe not the best set. All right, I think this is where it settles. I'll real quick take you to better light to show you my set. Oh, good. I have some dying flowers behind me. This is what the set is looking like today with just a quick brush out. This is just how I do my hair. And I usually just don't have hair sitting in the back. I mean, I can. I don't know. It varies. I can do it more like this, I guess, if I want. But I usually just split it down and have it all here, because then if I'm like using a purse or whatever, I like to have all my hair where I can see it. So that is day 2 of this set, but I do like today's set. It's very nice, but it does definitely look like a day 3. I'm hoping for my second set in this video, you guys will get to see what a really, really, really great wet set that actually sets really well in my hair looks like. Okay, so we are actually getting a full record with poor lighting. Sorry about that. Lighting does what it does during the day. I usually film only during the ideal parts. But basically what I'm first doing here is I'm just starting with like an initial misting of my hair. I split my hair into 4 quadrants when I do this. This one you're seeing me work with my first quadrant, which I have 1 on each side of my part that is behind my ear and forward, and then 1 on each side that is behind my ear and backwards towards where then my part would go down if it was going down the center back of my head. So what you see me working on here is that first quadrant, which is my smaller part side of the center of the front. I use only 2 rollers here in this spot, because that is just what I have found works best. 3 makes it too poofy. I think 1 wouldn't be enough. I've never tried 1, but I don't think it would work. And then what you see me doing here is I am spritzing my hair with just that water, and then I am spinning it. You've seen me tuck the ends in with my comb, and then I am just rolling it all the way up to my head. I roll my curl pattern in under everything. That is just what works best for me. I see tons of things that tell you to alternate them. I've never gotten that to work, so all of mine go under. It works really well for me. And again, your set pattern is just going to depend on your hair, and you're going to have to play around to figure out exactly what's right for you. For how wet I get my hair, I find I get a better set if it's a little bit more wet. So I get the ends almost completely wet. And then after that, I just basically spritz the rest of my hair a little bit so it's just like lightly damp, and then you see me with these curlers like spreading things apart. So I'm trying to not have it all gathered on one part. Now I'm going to move on to my back. This back, I do 2 sections off this back of about middle. So I basically like roll up my hair and feel if it's the same size of section on both top and bottom. And once they're close enough and they feel like they have the same amount of hair in them, I go ahead and I move on by first clipping one of the sections and then working on the other section. Each of these sections will then have 4 rollers in it, and I will do the rollers the exact same way, where I will divide again. Now I'll divide this into 2 parts that again feel pretty equal. I'll clip the part I'm not working with, and then I'll divide that top part into 2 again. And that's basically how I work with my hair. I try to keep the parts pretty even in the amount of hair in them because this just helps everything dry more even. It's like a very mathy, I feel like, way to do it, and I think a lot of people just do a lot more guesswork, but this is what I found works best for me and gets me the best consistency. And again, I will be adding in water and rolling these and rolling all of them under the same, just like I always do. And now I'm moving on to the second half of my head. This is the thicker half, so there will be more curlers here. This front set I put 4 curlers in, so double on the other side. I use my thinnest rollers here in the front because I like to have a really nice curl here. And again, using my tail of my comb to make sure all my ends are sticking in, and again, curling everything like down and in towards my head as opposed to flipping out. Again, you're gonna have to play with what works for you. I feel like you're probably sick of me saying that, but my set is probably not gonna work for very many people. Just like all the sets I followed on YouTube before I found a set that worked for me didn't work for me exactly. When I'm twisting these, I'm making sure, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm making sure that I'm twisting them to be kind of flat on the head as opposed to twisting them up, except for the places on my head where of course I'm not going to be sleeping. Like I'm not going to be sleeping on the top of my head, so those could stick up as much as they want. But the ones on the side of my head, I'm trying to lay so that way they'll all lay sort of flat. I'm not saying they're laying super flat. They're just definitely laying a little bit more flat than maybe some of the other curlers. And I should not save the worst part of my hair for last, but I do. This is where most of the hair on my head sits. So what you see me doing here is I have split it into 3 about equal sections, a top, a middle, and a bottom, and then again I have those clicked off. And then of course I will split those again into 4 sections each, which is what you see me doing here, and then I'll be curling them in. Overall, this whole setting process takes me about 20 minutes to half an hour. I do it while I watch TV, which is what I'm doing here. I don't remember what I watched on TV while doing this, but that is usually what I'm doing is, yeah, I'm going to be watching TV. But overall, I find the setting process quite relaxing. It's a very routine thing. It also helps me check on my hair health. I like how in touch setting my hair makes me with my hair because, yeah, I can see what my color is doing on any given day. I can see if I'm maybe seeing some weird hair loss in a section or more breakage in a section, and then those are areas that then I can treat. So I just like it. I find this pretty relaxing and I enjoy doing it, but it is a bit of a commitment. However, I think putting in 30 minutes to be able to just like brush your hair and go out the door for the next few days is well worth it for me. Yeah, that wraps up this set, and then I'm gonna of course go to bed and sleep on it just like I slept on my last one. This one I'll have in my hair, I think, again about 16 hours. Alright, now it is morning and I am going to start pulling out my rollers. You can tell already from the beginning I got a much more secure set because you can see how short my hair is staying and how much things are staying in these ringlets. Sometimes I think more water is better and sometimes less water is better. I'm betting it depends on like the level of water in the air. So I assume that is some of what impacts this, but I definitely used probably like double the water of this than on my first set. But I also am on a little bit less clean hair, and I do think hair sets better when it's a little bit dirty as opposed to like right when it's clean. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull these out, and then I'm gonna style this the way I styled the other time, where I'll pull pieces out, shake my head, brush it, and then we'll see how this turns out. Here is the final result of this set. It's much more Shirley Temple, very, very curly, very, very short. This is definitely going to be a set that lasts me many more days than the other set did, so I'm pretty happy with it. All right, I just got back from a gay opera, so I am ready to figure out my hair for the evening. Usually I do brush through almost every night. Tonight I'm not going to because I'm kind of thinking this might wake up a little bit looser and I might still want it to kind of be a little bit more chaotic, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna kind of put it up and see how I feel about it tomorrow when I let it back down. On rare occasion, on second day hair, I don't want to brush it either. And yeah, I think this set is promising. I think this will be the last set of the series, so this should take us through for, I guess, 5 days. So you'll get to see what like an actually good curly set does. I don't know what was so funky about my first set. I maybe didn't use enough water. And this is why I say you really have to just practice with your own hair and see what you like. Like, I don't know, it's not science, it's more art. So yeah, I'm gonna pop this on top of my head real quick. All right. Oh, I hate... So I have like this little bit of like breakage hair that I can't quite get up in a ponytail. So I'm gonna just grab a bobby pin and pin it up out of hopefully the sweat zone. I'm gonna drape this over my pillow. I mostly sleep, I don't know, on my back or on my side, so I can drape this over the pillow while I sleep, and I guess I'll show you what it looks like when I take it down tomorrow. And then I woke up the next morning to see what my non-brushed hair looks like. It was passable, it was okay, but I decided to go ahead and brush through it anyway. This is always not a very fun brushing process when I haven't brushed it like this because my hair does mat and tangle so much. You've definitely seen in this video me pulling a lot of faces while I've been brushing my hair, and that is a combo of how tingly my hair gets and how tender-headed my scalp is. So I'm just gonna brush through this and then I'll give you a final look at the result at the end. Here is what it looks like at the end. I'm really happy with this set. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is kind of my ideal, and this is why day 2 hair is usually my favorite. It still has all that curliness and bounciness in it, but it's also just a little less curly and a little bit more relaxed. So it is the best of both worlds, and I'm very happy with it. And then I did the whole hair routine all over again the next day, and this is what day 3 hair is looking like on the set. It is absolutely flowy and gorgeous. I also really love this state. It makes me feel so glamorous and pretty, and it skews a tiny bit more 70s to me than like 40s and 50s the way the earlier sets do. All right, so I'm gonna actually wrap up with this video a day early. So this is what my set looks like today, which I believe is the 4th day of this set. So normally this set would have lasted another day, but I must have had my hair get tucked under me while I was sleeping, and I had really bad night sweats last night, hopefully not TMI. So it went back straight at the ends, so I'm gonna end up wanting to redo this set anyway. While this side still looks really good, you can see what both sides would have looked like if I hadn't slept weird on it, because this one's still curly enough that I probably would have left it for one more day and it would have been really mild curls tomorrow. Wet sets aren't predictable, and like if you need a super predictable hairstyle, it's probably not the best way to go. When I was first learning to set my hair, I had lots of ponytail days because it looked so bad. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful, taking you through a whole week of my hair routine. Basically, like if it came down to the biggest tip I would have for you guys, it is that it is trial and error. It took me about 6 months to get my set down to a place that I can rely on it almost every single time I do it. And anytime I change climates, it all goes back up in the air again. So I wish I was more helpful. I will have all the products I used linked down below. That will be an Amazon link, so it will be an affiliate link. So I do make money if you click it. But they are all the products I use. Curler size, like the rod size, the diameter is really gonna be different based on your hair. If your hair actually holds curl, you probably don't want to go as thin as mine. Since my hair is so straight, I go pretty thin on my rollers. But yeah, I actually think right after this video, the first thing I'm going to do tonight is dye my hair. I want to move it a little bit more on the purple spectrum. So I'm excited about that, and that's my plan. And I'm just going to go to work, I guess, with straight hair tomorrow. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video or got something from it. I feel like it maybe wasn't as helpful as you all think it might be to know my hair routine. I just am such a believer in like you should figure out your own hair, because your hair and somebody else's hair is never going to be the same hair. Same with like bodies and skin. So thanks again for watching, and as always, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around if you haven't already. I would love to see you next week. I upload every Friday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, and I will see you next week. Bye!